Terribly and swiftly shall he come against you, because judgment is stern for the exalted, but for the lowly may pardon be but for the lowly may be pardoned out of mercy. Hold on, I've got the wrong section here. For the lowly may be pardoned out of mercy, but the mighty shall be mightily put to the test. I often, not so much anymore because I think I understand it better. There's always a better way to understand or a deeper way to understand, but the words from Jesus from the cross, forgive them for they know not what they do. Right? I think to myself, Jesus is looking out at these angry, spiteful, horrible people who've just crucified him, the people that he came to save and be nice to, right? He says, I've been trying to be nice for you for 3 years, and this is what I get out of it. And his extension of mercy, his understanding, which is a perfect understanding of the thing, is to say, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And this is all, for a long time, this baffled me. To kind of explain it or to look at it in this way, I think about this test, and this is why it kind of came to mind here from the Book of Wisdom. The lowly may be pardoned out of mercy, but the mighty shall be mightily put to the test. When you're looking at students, and I see this most clearly from when I was a student, not before I was teaching, there are 3 kinds of students. There are those who just think they're going to fail so they don't try. There are those that think they've just got this so they don't study. And then there are those who are convinced that it's doable, but that they're going to have a really hard time to do it, and so they study hard. And they're the obnoxious, nervous one before the test, the one that always gets 100, and they're all like, oh, I just don't think I did very well. And of course, the rest of us are like, shut up, you got 100, right? When we look at the parable of the talents, which is actually coming up this weekend, we've got the one who buries the talent because he's afraid he's going to fail. He doesn't even try, right? This is the student that just doesn't study. We're going to set them aside for now, right? Because they're really not even worth our consideration. Someone who's not even willing to try and fail, even recklessly, is not worth our time or consideration. The Lord will spew them from his mouth, he says. We're not even going to talk about them. They're gross, right? The other 2, however, are worth considering. The one whose ego is inflated and who is arrogant and in his bravado says, I'll figure this out. I'm not gonna study. I'm gonna go play, or I'm gonna go, do something else. I'm gonna go out with my friends, and when the test comes, I'll just muddle through. That was me, right? And if I had taken a different approach, I'd be better educated now, and other people might profit more from that. That's one of those sins that we do in our youth that continue to afflict us throughout our lives and afflict others. Right? This one doesn't have room for mercy. It doesn't make room for mercy. Right? This is the one, the mighty here in the Book of Wisdom, who says, yeah, Lord, I got this. I got this right. And the Lord says, are you sure? Are you positive? Yeah, I got this. Everything's squared away. It's great. Okay, I'm gonna inspect you. You sure? I'm awesome. So I'm Donald Trump, right? I'm just huge. This is huge. Everything's great. Everybody else, terrible. Me, perfect, right? And then the Lord puts you to the test. He tries you. He says, no, you got a hair out of place there. And now I got no room to forgive you for it because you guaranteed me it was right. Away with you. No room for mercy. Right? Because of the arrogance of the one who's tested. Right? This is the one who stands up in the sanctuary, right? And says, Lord, I'm so glad you made me the way that I am, and that I follow all the law, and I fast, and I follow all the prescriptions, and I do everything right. And I'm glad I'm not like this schmuck back here who's back kneeling down, beating his breast, all dressed, all funny, and he's a tax collector too, by the way, a real sinner, right? But rather, we want to be like that one in the back who says, Lord, I'm trying. I don't understand everything well. In fact, I don't understand much well. There's so much to understand. I can't possibly, even the stuff that I think I understand well, can't possibly understand it as well as I think I do. I'm weak. Like St. Paul, I always do the things I don't want to do, and I don't do the things I want to do. I'm so frustrated with myself. Man. But your mercy endures forever. If you want, Lord, like these lepers, if you want, I can be made clean. I can be healed. I can be strengthened. I can be reformed in the way that you want me to be. That's the person who, even when they commit a grave sin, like nailing Jesus to a cross, can hear the words, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," and receive that mercy. Because we remain flexible, malleable, influenceable, that's the wrong word, able to be influenced by the divine message, right, by the gospel. Right? We really should strive in our spiritual lives to be the person who tries as hard as we can, but does not rely upon our own efforts. Right? In fact, I think there's a phrase like that. Augustine says, "Pray as if everything depended on you." No, he says, work as if everything depended on you, but pray as if nothing depended on you. That's not right either. I know, but I hate misquoting stuff, especially when it's so much better than what I just said. Anyways, you get the general gist. Yeah. God is so tender. The only way that we don't benefit from his tenderness is if we become hard. And that hardness comes from an assurance that we've got it, that we've arrived, that there's nothing left to learn. There's always more to come to know about the Lord. There's always a better way to love him. There's always a better way to serve our neighbor. The moment we think we've got it, the moment we become static in our Christian life, the moment we've retired from our Christianity because we've got it, is the moment that we become hard and impermeable to God's mercy. We become that mighty one who is mightily put to the test and will always be found wanting. But as long as we're still alive, as long as we draw breath, as long as we have power over our bodies to move and our minds to think, we're still a disciple of Jesus, which means we're still learning. We're still a member of his body, which means we're still called to love God above all else and our neighbor. And we're still an agent of God's mercy in the world. Let us remain so flexible so that in our failings, the Lord can say to us in sincerity and truth, "You are forgiven, for though you knew not what you were doing, you tried mightily."